Welcome back, Clubhouse members to Imani Clubhouse. It's your favorite host, me, Imani, and I'm so excited for today's episode. The title of this episode is called Power Dynamics in Sex. And this next guest that I have here, he is phenomenal. He is a music recording artist, he is a visual artist, he has done artwork for the NFL Artist Replay Project, Motown Holiday Album. He has celebrity clientele, which you would just keep on the hush for right now. He is literally all over, and in my opinion, he is a person that you would just love to have astounding conversations with. Like, to pick his brain and let him pick yours is a wonderful thing. So without further ado, I have Aaron Haya. Welcome to Imani Clubhouse.
What's up? What's up?
Okay.
Glad to be here.
I'm glad to have you as well. Now, power dynamics in sex. What does that mean for you, especially as a black man, and when it comes to having power and being submissive or dominant in the bedroom? What does that mean for you?
Well, I think when it comes to power dynamics in sex or anything, a lot of it is predicated on trust. So I think that's really the most important thing. That's really the foundation that's established in any sort of relationship where there is a power dynamic. So, when it comes to intimacy, I feel like it's not really too much different. Once the trust is established, then the dynamic works. If the trust is not established, the dynamic never works, because no one is ever really truly submissive. They only allow themselves to give power to other people, unless it's obviously a situation that's not consensual. But so I would say that trust is the biggest dynamic when it comes to that stuff. And that's what I think.
Because you speak on trust and giving power, do you feel like men allow themselves to give power to women who are strong in other fields of their life, as far as the workplace, as far as just outside? Do you feel like they give themselves the trust to the women to be submissive almost in a way?
I think some men do and some men don't. So you mean like do men give women the power to be submissive?
Do men give women the power? Meaning, do men allow themselves to be submissive in their role in the sexual activity that happens in the bedroom, giving women the power to be more dominant? Do they trust her enough to be dominant in the bedroom?
I think it depends on the guy, to be honest with you. I think it depends on the guy. And I think it depends on, there's a lot of dynamics and stuff like that, especially when it comes to power dynamics. Personal experience, preference, the partner that you have. For example, if you trust a person, like say your partner, if you trust your partner in other areas outside of the bedroom, whether it comes to say finances or whether it comes to just simple things like, character things like loyalty, faithfulness, integrity. If you kind of trust them in those aspects, then you're more than likely willing to trust them when you're in an intimate situation. So if a man does desire to kind of have a woman in control, where there's nothing wrong with that, then he'll do it. But I think for the most part, there's not really a scientific statistic on whether or not certain guys or how many guys actually like to be submissive and stuff to females, but I'm pretty sure that it's a pretty decent number. And if the guy trusts her, then I'm pretty sure he's going to allow her to do the thing.
But we speak on trust, and I find it now that in this generation, trust is missing. So how do we get to the point where you can sit down with someone and say, listen, I trust you with my money, I trust you with certain things about my heart, but I don't trust you in the bedroom? I don't think they're all connected sometimes. I really don't.
See, I feel like trust is like an onion. Mm-hmm. There's different layers that you peel. So finances is like layer 3, right? Mm-hmm. And then say intimacy is layer 9. But that dynamic changes depending upon who the person is. See, for some people, the bedroom can be layer 3, but then the finances is layer 9. You know? So there's different levels of trust, and it takes certain individuals, that level of trust is different for certain individuals. You get what I'm saying? So there may be a guy who trusts a female, you know, to, say, for example, dominate him in the bedroom, but he doesn't trust her to take care of his money, you know? Or
so
there may
is he
be
really giving his all? Is he really like giving up his power if he's only able to trust her in the bedroom but not with the money? How does that work? What is the mindset for that?
The thing is that the power dynamic is not a dependent relationship, it's an interdependent relationship. You need one, and one doesn't exist without the other. So when it comes to like just the idea of dominance and the idea of submissiveness, they work both hand in hand. They're like yin and yang. Like they have to both coexist with each other. You feel me? Yeah. So that level of trust in the bedroom doesn't necessarily have to equate to, say, you know, like trying to figure out like if a person trust another person with their bank account. You get what I'm saying? Imagine like being dominant in the bed and then just being like, oh yeah, well, you know, I need your bank account number. And you're like, why is that? It's like, well, you said you trust me, right? Like I'm your dom, so why can't I get your bank account number? I don't think it works that way. You know what I'm saying?
That's happened. It's happened where, and it's this thing where people say, you know, when you sometimes give up your energy to someone, you're opening the doors for other things. Sometimes I feel like when you're having sex with someone, you lose sense of your own power by giving to somebody else, and therefore you're allowing that person to have access to other parts of your life, like your finances, like your jobs, like your family, the things they may have a say-so on how you operate within your family, how you operate within your friendships. So yes, I know earlier I said they don't connect, and sometimes I think they don't, and sometimes, this is where I'm thinking that sometimes I feel like they do. Now that I'm actually thinking about it, they possibly
do. I think sometimes people allow their lives to be consumed by it.
By sex.
And I see that happen a lot. Yes. Okay. Yes. They you know, I can't talk on, you know, maybe their earlier experiences or something that happened to them that their life becomes predicated around sex, but there's a lot of people where sex is the dominant thing in their life, where it has consumed them to a point to where they, like, for example, like for me, if I'm thinking about role play and intimacy, I'm thinking about a situation where you are with a partner that you trust, that you're willing to explore with, that you're willing to kind of be a little open-minded with and be adventurous with. But you know how to kind of step out of that role when it comes to the real world. There's some people who they're so embellished in that life that they don't know how to step out of it. So it reflects everything that they do in their entire life, because that role literally becomes them. It consumes them.
So it's a fantasy.
The fantasy becomes reality for them. You know, like they get consumed by it. Like they don't know how to break out of that role, because essentially when you're playing a role, people don't really like to equate it to this, but you are essentially playing a character. You know? And when you're outside of that bedroom or outside of that intimate situation, if you're still in character all the time, then yeah, it's consumed your life, you know? And I know a lot of people who that's happened to.
So let me ask you this last question before we go to break. Do you feel like when you have these power dynamics in sex and the main thing is trust, but if the person is consuming this fantasy world which they're trying to make realistic to them, do you feel like the trust is really real, that they really are giving you trust, or they're just trying to get to your body at the end of the day?
I don't know if they're trying to get to their body, but they're trying to satisfy something that needs to be filled in them constantly.
So the sex that you're having in a sense is real to one person and not real to the other.
That could possibly be the case, yeah. That's why, you know, it's important when you do stuff like that, it has to be somebody who, that's the reason why I mentioned all those other things before, But like if you can trust a person's character, you can trust a person in certain areas of your life. It's easier to trust them when it comes to an intimate situation, because two strangers can link up and have a submissive and dominant role, but that doesn't necessarily mean that, you know, that's real trust that's established. You know, that's really two people who are trying to fill a void. So when I talk about power dynamics, I'm talking about like power dynamics in almost kind of like real situations, not more so in just like
an illusion.
Yeah, like where somebody's like, okay, I'm gonna meet this person online and I'm gonna link up with them and we're gonna do X, Y, Z. I don't think that's a real power dynamic. You know, like, I mean, there are power dynamics there to a degree, but there really is no trust established because you don't know that person. You know?
Yeah.
So you're kind of just feeding into your needs at that point, you know?
Yeah.